All right, now who's ready for liftoff?
Not yet, not yet. You turn off the box fan.
Oh, it's gonna drown out. Yeah,
that's
true. This is how dedicated I am to liftoff. I write down I am ready.
Right.
You gotta show the camera that.
I am ready for liftoff.
Yeah. Goodness.
So, day 43, week 7, which is the
Part
second
two.
part 2 of the whole book. Up till now, we've done nothing but preparation. The rest of it is diving in and experiencing actual OB exit techniques. So, the trance techniques weren't it. It was all just prep. And here we go. And day 43 has special meaning to me and Jason because it's the last day that we've ever done.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's right, it's on the ground after this.
That is so cool.
Looking forward to that.
Exciting.
All right.
For this you newbies too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess everyone's new to it except for you. He'll be new as of 65.
65, I'll be new. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pro. So, let's begin, shall we?
Let's do it.
We've already done affirmations off camera, and now we'll do OB prep process and read through the whole thing first this time. It's quite long. So, first of all, mentally prepare yourself to take more than 45 minutes on your dailies from now on. Even the affirmations got a little longer, and that'll take time to say.
Yeah.
If you notice. All right. So on page 235 in the book, take a minute to walk through your planned OBE before using the relaxation technique. If you're using the brainwave generator, please begin listening to this week's preset as you relax. Complete the OBE breathing technique for 5 minutes. Pre-stimulate for 5 minutes. Raise energy and use the full body circuit for 5 minutes. And or stimulate your primary energy centers for 15 minutes. Quiet your mind. Practice the third eye trigger technique where you look at your third eye. And use a trance induction method for 15 minutes.
And don't forget your warm-ups for your eye technique too. The warm-up exercise.
That's part of the 15 minute.
Yep.
Yeah, it is, but it's just like reminding
Yeah, remind you to do your eye exercise.
2 breaths down, 2 breaths, right, up,
Yeah.
circle,
Yeah.
the way.
That's why it says practice the third eye trigger rather than just go for it. Practice your favorite body loosening technique for 5 minutes and move on to OB exit practice. That's the final step. So today's very first OBE exit technique, first in the book, of course, is the classic that Robert Bruce pioneered. He designed this for blind people to be able to have a context for, how do I visualize lifting from my body, being over there instead of here? How about we just use touch? So we'll get there. All right, so this will take about 20 minutes in this section.
Just gonna mention real quick, Steph. The rope technique is the most famous technique voted from some surveys that they've done online.
The most successful.
Most successful and seems to be most people's favorite.
Oh.
So I'll just throw that out there. Yeah. On a few surveys I've read online.
Not my personal favorite because I have bad associations with the rope challenge in elementary school.
Oh.
This is enough of challenges. Extra association.
Right. I couldn't do it then. How can I do it in my imagination?
I didn't even know
I
females
don't know what it's like
how to do that. Had to climb. They're just guys, boys that did that, not girls. Because boys had a hard enough time trying to climb that rope.
Yeah, they could only get a few feet.
Yeah.
And it was knotted, I believe, but you weren't supposed to cheat and use the knot, so yeah. Yeah, I remember hating that thing.
We had to do the rope. So,
Yep.
we had to just do it with our arms and go up like to the ceiling of the gym.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Touch
fell-
the ceiling.
Yeah, if you fell from that, maybe you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which grade was this?
It was like,
Elementary.
it was like 8th
Like-
grade, 9th grade.
No, well, for me,
To me,
it's also
yeah.
sooner. Maybe 4th grade.
No, your kid's not strong enough to do that. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
these are football players doing that.
Oh, football
Right.
players.
Yeah.
No, this was like mandatory PE in public education. Every kid had to be able to get like 1 or 2 feet worth up on the rope
Oh, okay.
before they get exhausted and get dropped down.
Yeah.
And the boys are struggling to get a few feet up, and the girls are like,
Yeah. I feel like
Not a
I'm
very
there.
realistic
No.
requirement, huh?
no, it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, you won't have any of that trouble now.
Actually, it's worse now because I weigh more. I'm not 50 pounds.
But you're not your Astral body.
Not well. That's true.
It's very light.
But I had an OB once where I'm like, oh, I can do anything. I'm gonna do a handstand. I could never master handstands. So I did a handstand for like a whole 2 seconds, and I'm like, yeah, and then I fell because my subconscious took over.
Yeah.
But you could also do a handstand, have the room rotate for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. Oh, easier. Maybe much easier. So, step 1 of the rope technique. Imagine a large, strong rope is hanging down in front of you, just above your chest, in a natural position for you to grab hold and begin climbing. Vary the position and angle of this imaginary rope to suit what feels most natural for your position. 2. Imagine you have an extra set of arms and hands extending from your shoulders. Make these arms as long as they need to be. Reach out with both of them and grasp the rope. Climb hand over hand strongly up the rope. Pull rope to chest with each climbing hand action. Feel yourself in the projectable double, moving up the rope as you climb it. Stay aware of your physical body remaining behind as you climb out of it. Concentrate on the climbing action, but don't let your physical body tense up. Breathe naturally and do not hold your breath or allow it to become ragged. Hold your mind clear and focus solely on climbing the rope. Step 3. Develop a powerful, natural, 2-handed climbing action, just as you would if you were actually climbing a rope in real life. One hand reaches out while the other hand holds on. Is that how you do it?
Yes.
It takes 2 just to hold on, though.
Because you're supposed to use your legs too.
No, not on my class. Both hands work together at all times. As one hand pulls on the rope, the other hand should be reaching out to grip the rope above it, ready for the next pull on the rope. Try not to use only one hand at a time. Using both hands together makes the rope technique easier and more effective. Vary the speed of the climbing, step 4. Vary the speed of the climbing action to what feels easiest and most natural for you, but do not climb too slowly. Just as with a bounce action, increase your climbing speed until resistance is felt, and then back off to a more comfortable speed. Varying your climbing speed from about a half second to 1 second for each completed hand action, which is reaching out and pulling the rope in with each hand, is best. Step 5. Feel your imaginary hands as very strong and feel yourself climbing effortlessly and powerfully up the rope. Try to feel yourself in your projected double, moving upwards as you climb the rope. It is the exterior awareness climbing action that makes this technique work. The climbing action itself provides a natural upward and outward movement away from your physical body. It's just that simple.
Yes, folks,
And then-
it's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
Climb on out.
Climb on up, yeah.
I just don't like ropes. I'm not a very good climber.
So,
Period.
daily tips. Robert Bruce says, many people have found it helpful to pin a length of ribbon or string to the ceiling above their beds or chairs within easy arm's reach. Touch this occasionally until you get used to the position in your mind. The position and feel of the rope will grow in your awareness memory, making it easier to imagine yourself reaching out and climbing it with your body awareness hands. Position your rope aid at the most natural and easy to imagine position for you. Brian says, I was quite unprepared for the effectiveness of the rope technique the first time I used it. Anxious to get started, I simply lay down in the area I had been using to do my trance work and started pulling on the imaginary cord without going through any preparatory trance work. Right away, it felt as if my consciousness was a liquid mass sloshing up and down the axis of my body. It was my most powerful experience to date, and I was caught completely off guard. Remember to relax and get into the trance before you get started, and most importantly, once the sensations start, don't stop for anything.
So it's possible one of us could have an OBE during these practices.
Yeah.
That's one plan.
On camera.
And,
Is that or fall asleep?
right. Yeah.
And yeah, so for the week 7 reading, just as a highlight, someone said that they were able to project from a chair. So more confirmation. Oh yeah, here it is. The when you start reading week 7, there's a little little italic section where they have 2 experiences.
Right.
And one of the 2, they were sure enough in a chair, and I guess that means hardback chair. All right. So we're going through that now, and then we'll hop over to the reading.
Yes, sounds good. And then I guess we'll stop after we do the preparation process. We'll stop real quick and make sure, and before we start the road, just a quick stop.
We could keep doing the 5-minute timer for a lot of these beginner sections.
Right.
And then, what were we saying?
Because this preparation time is not part of that last part.
Right.
So, do you want to take a quick break after, or should we stop and like we usually do it every 5 minutes and stop? Like how
Sure.
we've been doing it.
Yeah, otherwise.
Yeah.
So every 5 minutes stop
Yeah.
instead of one big chunk.
Well, it
Yeah,
says,
for sure.
it says practice your favorite body loosening technique 5 minutes and move on to the OBE exit practice. So I take that as like, don't wait too long.
Well, yeah.
Well, just to have an alarm period.
Oh, okay.
At all, just to keep everyone
You just want to set,
on the same page.
Okay.
I'm
think
just
separate.
wondering.
Why we're all together, keep everybody together.
Yeah, because
Okay.
otherwise it's too hard to lose track of time.
yeah.
Okay.
Given that we're doing it in a group, if we were independent, then we could take longer than 5 minutes on the breath and
Yeah.
a little shorter on the chakras and
Yeah,
that
it's,
kind of
it's a
thing.
long process anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only thing I read that he changed during week 7 was the breathing technique. To switch to the 880 technique, and that's it. Otherwise, everything else is the same.
Okay,
If
so
you
you can
can.
run through that real quick.
So 8 breaths in. You gotta count to 8
Wait,
and
8 seconds.
inhale.
Not 8 breaths in.
I mean 8 seconds. Yeah, I know. So yeah, count 8 seconds in. Yeah, 8 breaths. And then hold for 8. Last week we were not holding.
Right.
We were
Like-
just it's like gonna be a second. And then exhale for 8 seconds, and then start it, and then a quick break, and then start it up again.
Natural pause.
A natural
But not the
Hold-
full 8 between exhale and start of the inhale, right?
Like 0. almost.
0 on
Just
that.
0.
Yeah.
Natural pause on the empty
On the-
part. You don't want to have a completely empty lung for 8 seconds. You can in other practices, but not this one.
Yeah, it's tough.
Now,
Like
if
light
8
up.
doesn't work for you, do 6, do 5, 4 seconds. And he doesn't say you have to stick to 8 if it doesn't feel, if you're pushing it too much or you feel out of rhythm. So you can
And I-
switch it up. That's what he recommends.
And I remember the prior week he was suggesting 6 to 8, but
Mhm.
suggesting more like 6.
6. Yeah.
And so he's assuming that you've used that to deepen your breath and you've gotten used to 6 or more, so now you're ready for 8.
Right.
I
That's
was
right.
doing it anyway, because
Sure.
that's
Now, this is interesting here
read
for
that
the
or-
breathing. Well, it's part of the breathing exercise that he changes, so I thought that would be important here. What page is it? Page 228. So 228, we return to 228, because this is the thing that he changed. And breathing in the OBE, which I found interesting here. So Steph, you can read this here. This is part of what was changed up. And we always talk about this during each meetup here, a little confusing on what he wants us exactly to do during that. So it gets into it there.
Well, speaking of confusing, let me just pull the audience. From what we just read about the rope technique, should we lay flat, vertical, and just kind of like do this movement towards our chest? Or should we pretend we're angling up out of our body and then do the vertical movement? So when I first read the rope technique many years ago, I assumed you means lean up, imagine yourself leaning up and then doing it this way. But
Yeah. I would imagine, the position I would have to do in reality, which would be like this.
Yeah.
That's by far the easiest versus, laying back.
With their legs out.
Yeah. So,
Like
yeah,
ice.
I would just think,
Yeah,
Huh.
so it kind of fits
Even
the
though-
upward chair
yeah, because
style.
even though like
You need
that
to-
may not be vertical, but in your imagination, it sure can be.
Yeah.
But still, I think it would still play.
This week you'll begin to change pace to work up to the following. Breathe in for 8 counts, hold it for 8 counts, exhale for 8 counts, pause normally, then repeat the cycle for a ratio of 8880. You do not want to just start breathing with an 8880, this is important, ratio all at once, however. Begin as you have before with a minute of breath awareness at normal breathing levels and gradually deepen the breath over 6 to 12 counts. When you reach deep breathing levels, start last week's count of 8080 for 4 breaths, then increase it to 8480 for 4 breaths, then 8680 for 4 breaths, then finally 8880. So I thought that was interesting how he's changing that up here. I thought that was important.
Thorough.
The idea is that at some point during the OBE breathing technique, you will project out of your body. However, if you fail the exit, you shouldn't just stop at 8880 breathing ratio all at once and begin breathing normally. Ease off gradually. Take it down to last week's 8080 breathing ratio for 6 breaths before steadily decreasing to normal levels. The OBE breathing technique needs to be practiced for it to become a relaxed and effortless way of breathing, so you shouldn't even have to think about it when we get it down pat.
I'm so confused.
I think that is key.
And it-
Too much
yeah.
on,
Get too worried about it.
then
Yeah, you can't be thinking about
you're
it.
nowhere close to
And he says it might take a little while for you to get used to this in there, so you gotta play some number games with your breathing if you can remember all that.
No.
It's not hard. 8 seconds in, natural pause. 8 seconds out, natural pause. Build up to a 4-second pause on the maximum breath. Then build up to a 6-second pause. Then build up to an 8, and that's your cap. You stay there. 8880. 8880.
So was that a little shock to have to work your way up to it? You know, you're not supposed to start off with breathing like that. And
I might.
yeah.
I don't see why bother, but I guess I'll do it.
And also he wants to make sure that you visualize clean air coming into your body, still keep that on the inhale, and still energy departing it on the exhale. Keep
That's
that
important.
going. And you'll want to breathe in from the top to bottom, he's saying again, and empty yourself from bottom to top, mixed in with it as well.
Oh my god, are you also supposed to valve your breath?
Also,
Ah!
before you want to valve and to pace the intake and expulsion of the air. So all mixed together.
Well, that answers
Our
our
question of last week.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to keep? What are we not supposed to keep?
For the past 2 weeks
That
now.
answers the question why so many people drop out.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for the last week or 2.
Can I show anybody the door right now? Does anybody want me to show them the door?
I can see it.
Larry, want me to walk you
The
out?
door to go up this way. That door.
Sorry.
So for the
Yeah, it's a
last,
little bit of a challenge, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I think you still gotta be relaxed in it all too.
I'm having trouble just being relaxed with the counting.
Yeah.
And then we're supposed to add all this other stuff too.
Yeah, on top of it.
Yeah, so I kind of, he didn't specify last week or the
Nope,
week before.
he
He just
didn't,
says,
yeah.
repeat last week's exercise. Well, that doesn't mean it all builds on itself. Or does it mean swap out parts of it for this part? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I just took the liberty of only doing the counting. And now I know, retroactively, that I should have been doing all of that. I guess if you do it for, 6 weeks, right?
I guess, you just have to assume the hardest.
Yeah.
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 But it sure does
Be more
keep.
prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it keeps that chatter down too, because when you're trying to think of, to keep all that going, there's no room for the inner dialogue to go on. Just blocks that right out. So I can see it.
Holds your attention.
Now I want to point out, the rope technique, step 2, it says pull rope to chest with each climbing hand action. So,
It could be,
Oh.
it could be mid direction, right?
Yeah, could be this way.
towards the chest, as,
Same.
like from the head to the chest, essentially?
Yeah.
Versus
Whatever seems
rope to-
natural to you is what I would think.
Yeah, I think he says that too, right? I mean, position it, work with it. So whatever
Yeah.
seems comfortable, so it's not like it has to be this way.
Yeah.
That would
Right.
block you.
I would prefer a logic.
As long as you get that sensation that you're moving up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will try both and see which one feels right.
Well, if it's a sensation.
We're so used to that, the feeling of gravity,
Mm.
so it's next to impossible to.
Yeah.
I think I might, personally for me, this might have an association with being really hard,
Yeah,
but if I
They
do
don't do
this,
that.
then it's like, oh, this is one of those OBE technique things that I don't have a context
Well,
for.
you don't have to
They do.
exit vertically, because it's a.
Yeah,
so
turn
the
it
other,
down, yeah,
other
sure.
technique is
Yeah.
also to turn, right? To turn
Different.
and
To
roll
roll.
up.
Not
Yeah,
this one.
the roll.
Not this one, exactly, but there's that technique.
Yep.
Because whatever.
There is a
works.
roll one, yeah, we'll
There's
get
a
to
roll,
that too.
There's like a right roll.
Yep.
The last time I did, I was just stuck here. I couldn't get up, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
He mentions that,
Well,
yeah.
wait, instead of just, you don't mean roll out really, you mean get up? If you then instead spin,
That's
Like
that's
this
what,
way.
like if you
Yeah,
want to
just
roll
do it,
off the
yeah.
bed and kind of fall,
well,
just roll off.
but if you cannot roll off, you try and it doesn't work, then just, it's physically impossible, but like pivot within your own body,
Ah.
as if you're,
I
do
know,
this
like
all the
looking
way
back,
around.
yeah,
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 and that way it'll kind of loosen you up, and
Yeah.
then you can roll off the
roll off,
bed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got
Or
it.
just maybe fall backwards, just like.
Well, he just mentions
You're
it
in bed,
in
so you
the
wouldn't fall
in the
backwards.
thing in here. So since you brought up, I'll read it real quick. The paragraph.
Yeah.
The rollout OBE exit method. We have included the rolling out OBE exit method here because it is a great help for finishing off an OBE exit. It can, of course, precipitate an OBE exit on its own, but it is particularly useful when you get stuck only partially out of your body
Yeah.
and need something to complete the exit.
Yeah.
There's a Robert
That's what I
Monroe
said.
meditation where you practice being like a log in water,
Mm.
where you're perfectly spinning just that way. You're not
Oh,
rolling
yeah.
around that way or left or right. You're just
It's
in
in
your
your-
in your axis spinning. Yeah.
I think he mentions that one later on. I think he does because I think I like that one.
And
Yeah,
that's
I think-
supposed
yeah, I
to
think I
help
read
you
that.
get up.
Yeah,
That's supposed to help you.
I have a question.
Anything that kind of helps you become aware of
Instead
your
of
other
like
body
using the
instead of your
arms, just use
physical body.
something that has an upward motion.
Let's stick with the techniques.
alright, so we'll stop this, we'll get the music.